Hi, I'm Marion Landry, and in this small tips and tricks, I want to show you how to add a mental ray glare shader. Mental ray glare effect is an effect that is added on top of your rendered image at the end process of the rendering. Now, it will help add some sort of a dreamy feel to your rendering and also help maybe add some sort of realism or an extra impact to your image. So let's see how easy it is to add this glare effect. Now you have to keep in mind that only the very bright color of your render will be impacted by the glare effect. For this particular image, I'm going to turn on my light of the three-wheeler to a self-illuminated material so I know that the glare will go onto this particular light. So I will call on the material of my lights. Right now they're not lit, so they're turned off. So I'm going to turn them on by adding self-illuminated material onto these lights. So I'm going to just check on the self-illuminated material. So now you'll see that my lights are turned on. I'm also going to turn on the orange light underneath the white light. So now I have really bright color in my render, and I know that the glare effect will be added on top of these bright color. It will also show in the sky as well. So I'm just going to render the lights here to show you the result of the self-illuminated material. I'm going to render only this region of my render, of my image. So it's a quick kind of render that I'm doing. And you see now that the lights are turned on and they're now extremely bright in my render. And I know that the glare effect will go into the very bright color of my render. So I'm going to go ahead and add the glare effect now. So I'm going to call the rendering setup window, go under the renderer tab, and under the camera shader, you can see that the glare is already added automatically by default there. You can go and select it if you want, but it's not turned on. So I'm going to check the output on. So now I'm going to drag this glare effect into my material editor to look at the quality and the general parameter of this glare effect. So I'm going to leave the default parameter and you get to see the impact before I make any adjustments. So I'm going to go ahead and render my image. First, I'm going to save a comparison images to compare the before and after. So the glare will impact the very bright color of my render. And it's an effect that's added at the end of the rendering process. So first, it's going to render my image like it does normally with mental ray. And at the end of it, there will be an extra pass, which the glare effect will be added on top of my image and will only impact the very bright color of my render. So most likely the self-illuminated material as well as the bright light in the sky. In the end, you see the glare effect appear on top of your render. Now looking at the parameter of the glare, if you look at, there's only a few parameters you can change. The quality, which will impact the graininess of this effect. The spread, which will impact how far the glare is spread. The streak is normally turned off by default, but you can turn it on and decide what kind of streaking effect you're adding and the intensity of this streaking effect. So let's look at the streaking effect we can add. So first of all, you'll have access to two different map type, which are located under the program file, Autodesk 3ds Max 2015 maps folder. So if you scroll down and look at the maps folder and look under the glare folder, you'll see that there's two types of streaking, one which looks more like a star and one which has less kind of streaking effect. So you can choose what kind of map you are adding. Now let me increase the parameter to maximum, so streaking weights to 1, resolution for the glare processing 500, the spreading I'm going to increase it to the maximum to 5, and the quality to a maximum of 4, and then we see what that streaking effect is. Of course, it's going to be a lot more emphasized than what you would normally do, but I just want you to see the impact of choosing a streak image and see the difference in between the two. So I'm going to go to the rendering process of the image, and at the end you'll see the glare effect using the streak image. And you see the strong impact here. Obviously, I made it bigger so you get to see the result. So you see the star-like streaking with these vertical or parallel line creating this streaking glare effect. Now, keep in mind that you also have access to a different type of map for the streaking image. And I'm going to load the different map here, which actually has less streaking. So they're a bit more precise. So this second image here, and I'm going to re-render using a very strong glare so you get to see the comparison in between the two. So the second streak image has less streaking channel, so therefore the glare is actually a little bit more like a cross effect. It has like 5 kind of streak, and it gives you a different result, and that might be something that you're more interested in. So you do have different ways to create this glare effect while using the streak or not. Personally, for this image, I am not going to use the streak. I'm going to diminish the spreads to 1.5 and keep the quality really high because I want this nice definition for my glare effect, and I'm going to re-render this image. So in the end, I get an image with a nice and soft glare effect. It shows on a self-illuminated material. It also shows slightly in the highlight of the metal, and it also shows in the sky. So you can decrease or increase the glare effect. You can also choose to use streaking effect or not. And if you want multiple streaks or limited amount of streak, that really depends on you. So glare is a nice effect that you can add at the end of the rendering process, and something to consider to add on your mental ray rendering.